Hi, Amanda.
Hello.
Hey, Filip.
Hi,
You good?
I'm good.
Yeah, well, yeah. I guess I'm very tired, but I'm good. Yeah.
Same.
Amanda and Filip are the founders of Playful, a magazine and podcast about electronic music, kinks, and underground culture in Berlin.
They are both from Sweden, where they met 10 years ago and now live in Berlin. We catch them for a coffee in Neukölln. We're super curious. How did they meet?
Oh my God. How I met Filip.
When me and Amanda met, it was in a nightclub back in Sweden. I was standing there with a friend. I wanted to go home. He wanted to have a hookup.
So me and my friend, we had a little competition. The competition was that the first person who gets a hookup will be invited for some good dinner and wine. And then went to a club an hour before the club closed. She was like, did you do it already? And I had totally forgot about this challenge. So I was like, fuck, I forgot. And I turn around and I see this guy, like he was standing out for sure.
I see this woman, Amanda, coming, like she saw me from the other side of the dance floor, and she kind of just ran up to me, like dancing up against me.
And I went up to him and I tried my best moves and tried to kiss him, and he ditched me.
I was really interested, and I could really see her shining coming through the crowd. But
So he had a girlfriend.
I was like, nah, we're not gonna do. It's not gonna be anything. But I was like, wow, what a person. But I really clicked with her.
Yep, so he was not interested and I was like, her. Then we exchanged numbers and he sent me a text message.
I asked her out to Copenhagen, and then she told me like, yeah, break up with your girlfriend first.
And he actually did within like 5 hours.
We went to Copenhagen and had a super nice date, and here we are today.
That's such a cute story. Now we want to know what made them move to Berlin then. Let's find out.
We didn't move to Berlin to start something. We were only moving here for a little short break of a year.
That was the plan, yeah.
Yeah, but we used to come here before that for weekends, and it was kind of you and I's getaway thing where we were having lots of fun.
Yeah, the freedom of the city, I would say, like it's like I think a lot of people come here because of that, because it's like a creative hub and it's a fun place, and there is, it can give you so much that any other city cannot. So like culture-wise, party-wise, and people-wise.
Berlin can be such a big influence. It certainly was for us. How did the city change Amanda and Filip?
Well, I definitely got more open-minded. I think Berlin taught me many lessons because of all the people I met here who have a different approach to life and who live different lifestyles.
I believe more in myself in many ways of what you can potentially do. I think it's easier to run something in Berlin, like a company, than back in Sweden. Because the opportunity is so much bigger, you meet so many people, and during our journey we've met so many people, and I feel like we are inspired by so many people, and that just gives a lot, and that's like also self-development for me, to hear their stories, see that you don't have to be like in a square, you don't have to fit in exactly.
I really hate the feeling of being judged, and I feel that since there are so many outsiders who come to Berlin, it's not so judgy, and that's probably why I feel so safe here. And what we realized was that a lot of people got their creative ideas after they had lived in Berlin for a while. And then half a year in, we were like, why is there nothing? Like, we met all these incredible people. In Berlin, it's just like, everyone's like, oh, what are you doing? And they don't mean what do you work with. They mean like, what are you into? Like, what do you like to do? Do you like music, or what kind of music? Whatever. Creative. It's very much creative focused here. Shit, I'm talking a lot. Maybe no more coffee for me now then.
Inspired by the energy of Berlin, Amanda and Filip started to think about creating a platform that would give a voice to the people they had met. How did their idea come to life?
I had an idea that I wanted to do something with Amanda. I was like, I really want to start. We should start our own thing here, and I was like, oh, we're sitting in a co-working office. Maybe we can start our own co-working office, which was not a really good idea. It's like
You were excited.
that
I
was
was
my
like,
fantasy.
that's a horrible idea.
And then we were just walking out in this place where there was a coffee place outside where we always went for coffee, and we were looking at the magazines that was there, and you were like, yeah, you kind of just popped the idea that you were like, hey, we should do a magazine about these things, with covering, like, do personal portraits of artists and interesting people that makes Berlin Berlin, and having a focus mainly on these, I would say, like, yeah, the underground culture and sex post, yeah, not really, but kinky stuff, and like what we saw then, we kind of just saw a glimpse of it. We're like, wow, we want to focus on them only.
And lift these people
lift
and
these
their
people.
like how brave they are going their own world in a society that always wants to like control.
But yeah, focusing on their journeys, how they end up doing this instead of having a normal corporate job.
So we were like, oh, we should do a spin-off on Playboy, like something that is more. I was gonna say more sexy, but not more sexy in that sense. More
Something that is more
more
queer,
fun,
more queer,
more
more
open,
and not so
diverse a little bit more, and
yeah, like a Berlin version with more personal stories and things. I think we like the aesthetic and everything around Playboy. Also like how it looks, the logos and these things, and we're like, yeah, maybe we can play around with it.
they're very creative too. Have been all years very creative.
Yeah, and we kind of okay, Playful. Maybe we could be Playful.
And Philip dropped it, and I was like, "Fuck, that's it!" And I just saw the Jesus coming down from the but I just felt like this is it. We already knew we wanted to have our dear beautiful friend Scotty the Blue Bunny on the first cover, who has been a huge inspiration and still is to this day a huge inspiration for Playful.
Playful magazine launches in 2019, featuring friends, artists, and shedding light on Berlin's clubbing and kinky scene. But something unexpected made them take another direction.
The war in Ukraine happened. Our print prices went up to like the double. It was like, are we gonna quit, or are we gonna continue and just adapt to the reality? So that's when we started the podcast instead, and that's been super fun and like a different journey.
Right now, what we are doing now, it's more digitally. It's easier for us to be like the two of us. We don't work with that many people anymore, but we can see the platform is growing a lot more than it has ever done before. And yeah, we do something that is like in our place, in this sofa. We have where I'm sitting is usually where the interview person is sitting, and we can have the interviews any time of the day. And yeah, it's much easier now.
Philip, you're very much in editing, filming, sound.
I'm doing kind of the back end work of Playful, and also of course I'm part of like finding the artists that we're gonna interview and these things.
This we do together.
We do together, and you are in front of the camera and you're preparing the interviews.
The podcast first airs in summer 2022, featuring diverse and unconventional guests from the music and sex-positive scenes.
We also realized that with the magazine, the most popular topics were music and sex. It's just two underground scenes that are emerging naturally. So we were like, let's focus mainly on these two topics. Sex. Everyone loves sex. And it's such a taboo subject still. And having a fetish is like, a fetish? That's only weird people who do, and normalizing.
Not in Berlin in particular. This is a very nice place for not being weird about that, but in other places. And I think like on the internet, for example, on YouTube, people search for these things. People have their curiosity, and I think I can just look into myself when it comes to sex, and if it's like a sex podcast or a specific topic, I'm there listening. I think everyone is curious about it, and I think that's the easy reason that these episodes It tickles you, and like when it comes to dominatrixes and latex and these things, I think people are like, we live in a time where people are, I don't know, we're also having conservative vibes all around Europe and right-wing stuff happening, but there's also another wave where people are more and more interested in things like polyamory and sex and kink and blah blah blah. So I think that's also kind of, I think it's in the right era for these topics as well.
The BDSM scene here has a history. right? And the techno. Techno also has deep roots here. There was not as much rules after the wall came down. It was very liberated. And then from there, I think that it's just something that people like.
And I also feel like there is a freedom within electronic music, and techno in particular, but also in house and electronic music. There is some kind of, for example, when you go out dancing and it's all about letting loose in so many ways and escaping from society's kind of frames, which also the sex and kink community is about, where you can meet in these safe places. So I feel like it's two closed, very open rooms that kind of are neighbors with each other in this city.
A magazine, a podcast, Amanda and Filip are always up for the next adventure and collaboration.
Together with their good friends from KLUB VERBOTEN, they had the idea to bring Berlin's kinky scene to the public. This time in real life, with a talk show.
Oh, well, we have been fans of KLUB VERBOTEN for some time. I don't know if we met them right when they came here, but we got to know them through friends. The two founders, Carl and Hanu.
We got to know Carl first. He was interviewed in Playful podcast. We built a closer connection, and then we've been good friends, and it's became better and better relationships, and we started talking about doing something together with KLUB VERBOTEN.
We were having some drinks, and this was just an idea that we all got, I think.
The idea is, I think it was Carl also. It came out of all of us, I think. But Carl had this idea of making it very old school German, naughty talk show, where there is interesting topics happening, like sexy, kinky vibe, where we discuss sex very openly, and then there's also things happening in the background.
Entertainment in various directions.
Yeah, crazy stuff. Gimps in cages, and everything can happen. Like a little crazy little world.
Yeah, it's been so much fun, actually.
And we're super excited for it.
We're so excited. This is going to have to be experienced. It's going to be a show. So it's going to be a lot of like surprise moments.
And it's also a conversation with 3 or 4 people.
This is like digging deeper. And in this we are like together investing, but with a very light. Like it's going to be a lot of laughs. It's going to be a lot of like easy going. You're going to feel happy and excited and still nurtured and playful and alive afterwards.
Wow. We love Amanda and Filip's enthusiasm and involvement in the scene.
Being in a relationship and working together, we wonder, how do they make it work?
We are like best friends and we've been together for 10 years, so we know each other very well.
Yeah.
And we don't have to say everything.
People are always like asking, how is it to work? Like you're living together, you work together, and you're in the same space all the time together. We spend like almost 24/7 time with each other. And I don't think that I could do it with anyone else than Amanda.
Also, like being in a relationship for a really long time, of course there are struggles in relationships. I'm probably more structured and I'm probably a lot more anal with things, even though I'm not super anal compared to others. But you are like a creative genius in some ways, where I'm like, fuck. And there's a lot of things where you have to be like, what do we choose? And we always choose each other. And when it comes to Playful, it's us and our baby Playful, you know? I would like people to take new perspectives. That there are new perspectives, and like sometimes you judge people too quickly, and maybe you read about something in the newspaper and then you hear the person speak about what they've been through on the other side, and suddenly you like get more understanding and knowledge, and you are more open-minded the more you know, the better you think.
I really want people to, and this is maybe not the answer of your question really, but I just think that it's something I want to say. It's like, I want people to try things out more, and I want people to because now we see on Twitter /X, whatever you want to call it these days, for example, how much hate there is around everything. Like there's huge hate against trans people, and against the sex positive scene, and against everyone who's not living outside this kind of heteronormative norm. And I think there's so much oppression and anger in this, and I would like these people to just, stop sitting there and just come to Peeploch, for example, experience that it's fun and experience that people are nice, and I don't know, that's what I want people to do
open
more.
up your minds.
Open up their minds.
Yeah.
I really hope that can be it, and also that Playful can bring that to society in some like, at least we plant the seed to people to open their minds and to dare to do something else outside the norm.
Final words?
No,
Or
last word.
Any final words?
I think we said it all. No
Yeah.
more words inside of me.